Hey guys, it's Austin here, and today we're going to be discussing the PlayStation 2 versus the Xbox. Now, the PlayStation was released March 4th, 2000. Uh, on launch day, it sold over 50 or 500,000 units, and in total, over worldwide, it sold 155 million units. The Xbox released November 15, 2001, and released 24 million units worldwide. I couldn't find a number trying to find how many were sold launch day, but it is what it is. Now, to start the bat, graphics wise, the PS2 is much weaker than the Xbox. The PS2 is an original console. Like, it's basically just an upgraded PS1. Basically, that's as much as I can simplify it. But the Xbox was basically a PC that they made called the DirectX, but they put it in a console and just basically became a powerful PC engine that became a console. That's basically as much as I can say. The PS2's graphics weren't really that much better than the PS1's. Really, that's it. They didn't really look as much better, even through like HDMI component adapters. It still doesn't look as clean as much as the Xbox will. The Xbox will look amazing whatever you put it through. That's because most of the games were 480p, and the console could go up to 1080i, and many games were able to go up to 1080i. The PS2 had games like that, but it was very weak 1080i in comparison. Now, yes, the PS2 had games that pushed it to its limits, and so did the Xbox. The PS2 had games that pushed it to its limits, like Final Fantasy X or X, or Final Fantasy 11, or there were so many games that actually did look good on the PlayStation 2. Just a lot of them just did not hold up like how Xbox games do today. And kind of like one example with that is Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, where the draw distance for the PS2 is very low. The graphics are very like worn down because they had to make it a smaller game so that it can fit on the PS2. The game is laggy, but on the Xbox they didn't need to do any of that. It just ran smooth. It's perfect. The draw distance is perfect. It's basically the PC's version, just there's tweaks that are done to make it a console version. Now, the Xbox had a very big controller when it came out, but shortly after they started releasing it with the very small one. It's kind of based on many of the Xbox controllers that we see today. It was the start of that. But then the PS2, it had its standard PlayStation 1 DualShock controller, which doesn't really work for me, but it is what it is, honestly. I mean, the controller is, you can't really do much about a controller. I mean, you can get third party, but I'm not a third party kind of guy. The PS2 really lasted a while, if you think about it, because of its popularity. It lasted from 2000 till 2013. Then the Xbox lasted from 2001 till I believe 2005, because they had a deal with Nvidia, who were making the programming chips for the console, and it was the graphics chip. And they had a deal, and when the next console came out, they would have to close off the original Xbox, and so that's what they ended up having to do. So that's why I wasn't around as much longer as the PS2, is just because of a contract. The Xbox came with a built-in Ethernet cord, and they knew that internet was going to be such a big thing for online gaming that they knew it was going to be the next thing for video games. And so every single one that they made came built in with one. The PS2, you had to buy a broadband adapter in order to play online. It didn't come built in until the PS2 came around. And same thing with a hard drive. The Xbox had a built-in hard drive for every system. The PS2, you had to buy a hard drive in order to play like Final Fantasy 11. Or you could have bought a PS2 Slim, which had a hard drive built in, and again with the Ethernet cord. a theme that Sony really did with the PlayStation was, their PlayStations is making it very slim nowadays, and that's what Xbox or Microsoft does. I mean, but the original Xbox, they didn't really do that. It was just this big, bulky 8.5 pound thing. Um, it was just, it's big and heavy and bulky, and that's really it. Um, the Xbox had games that looked a lot better than the PS2 because, like I said, the graphics are better. In my opinion, a better controller, ran smoother. Grand Theft Auto 3 looked better on the Xbox. Freedom Fighters, NBA Live '06. Many of the sports games just looked better. Just a lot of the third-party games that were on both platforms were going to look better on the Xbox. But if you were to get exclusive games for the PS2, they have a wide variety. They have a somewhat of a better variety. But then the Xbox just basically has Halo nowadays, and now Bethesda's Fallout series, I guess, also. But that's basically all Xbox has for exclusive titles, other than also Forza. Uh, there's not really much you can do for Xbox if you want first-party games to be developed for there. Overall, I think both are great systems. Just, I'm more lenient towards the side of the Xbox. Now, I'm not going to be able to change anybody's opinion. This is solely my opinion. Both are great. Just, the Xbox just had better graphics, had a hard drive that could never be full, so you never had to buy a memory card, just a better controller, just a lot of the things that came on the Xbox looked better, played better, and that's it. But the PS2 was just as great. Now, I can't change your opinion. That's your opinion. Just don't come at me. But anyways, that's all said and done. It's been nice making this video. If you guys enjoy it, leave a like. If you dislike it, I don't care. See you guys in the next one.